4 and PPR-8/4/1. Please, the floor is open.
Chair, first, if I might make a quick announcement to all delegates and participants. We are aware that there are live streaming issues. We're looking into them and getting those resolved as soon as possible. Thank you. We have a number of delegations who have requested the floor. Chair, the first ones I see are France, Japan, and the Republic of India.
Okay, please, France, you can start, you can talk, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much, Chair, and good morning to everybody. France would like to thank Norway and all the members of the working group for the work carried out. We fully support the issues mentioned in the report, and in particular, we would like to support the guidelines that have been adapted and ensure that we assign the responsibility clearly. The sound is coming in and out. So we would like to have the correspondence group re-established so that we can continue the work and report back at the next session. I'm afraid the sound was going in and out. Thank you.
Thank you, France. Megan, now I have a list here, but I'd like your help to tell me which are the next speakers.
Japan, and then the Republic of India.
Okay, Japan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I am listening.
Thank you. Yeah, this delegation would like to thank Norway for coordinating the correspondence group, and also this delegation supports the proposal to re-establish the correspondence group. We expect the detailed discussion on the contents of guidelines will be made at the re-established correspondence group. However, Japan would like to emphasize that we have to make a realistic and practicable guidelines. In this context, we would like to point out two specific issues which should be taken into mind when we discuss the details of the guidelines. The first one is the difficulties in checking of remained microfouling after cleaning. Microfouling includes visible one and invisible one, such as a certain size of slime and biofilm made by bacteria or fungus are visible, but the single body of bacteria or fungus are not visible. If the guidelines require removal of microfouling from the vessel's hull, then we need to survey all hull surface with a microscope, but that is not realistic and practicable. Therefore, we'd better to limit the removal target to visible microfouling, or to decide the standards on the ability of tools to remove invisible microfouling instead of directly checking the hull surface. The second one is the location of the vessels to be cleaned. The paragraph 9 in annex of document PPR-8/4/1 can be read. All the microfouling cleaning should be done only in dry docks. However, this requirement forces the ship owners to make their vessel to go dry docks and impose additional downtime in operation, and it brings ship owners extreme expense of cost associated with this additional dry docking and loss of operation. In addition, there is not enough knowledge or measures to prevent the spread of removed organisms associated with in-water training of macrofouling. Therefore, Japan would like to request to take note that further fact-finding, gathering information, and deep consideration on the location to address macrofouling screening are necessary in the discussion in the re-established correspondence group. Once again, we would like to stress that we need to make a realistic and practicable guidelines at the correspondence group. Thank you.
Thank you, Japan. Now I see many cards. The next ones will be Republic of India, Brazil, Binko, and the Vice Chair, Anita Makina. Republic of India, you have the floor now, please.
Good evening, sir. Thank you, sir. We thank Norway for coordination for very efficiently and the submission of the report. India fully endorsed re-establishing correspondence group review of 2009 and complete by 2023. With reference to PPR-8 4.1, India thanks Germany and Poland for the submission and also for information provided in good done. India recognized that protection of marine animals is a very high concern. But however, I repeat that the suggestion proposed by this paper, PPR-8 4/1 of 9, the removal of macrofouling needs measures to be carried out. So this concern of right will not be very practical. As such, if India is looking for an alternate, may be considered to right out or removal of macrofouling. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Republic of India. This is the second time that you speak, but the sound is not so clear. You should see later how to improve the sound of your communication. Please, I have now the card of Binko. Oh, no, sorry. Brazil, my country. Brazil, you have the floor. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good day for everyone. Regarding document PPR-8/4, this delegation would like to thank all participants of the correspondence group in Norway for coordinating the group. It's our understanding that the guidelines should result in a simple and straightforward document to encourage operators to develop their best practice according to their operational and environmental uniqueness. Therefore, Brazil supports the recommendations for the subcommittee to request the MAPC to extend the target completion year of this output to 2023 and re-establish the correspondence group to progress with the work intercession. As for document PPR-8/1, this delegation wishes also to thank all the proponents for submitting the document. Brazil is of the opinion that the recommendations based on the proposal for a regional Baltic biofouling management roadmap could be valuable for the current review process of the guidelines under consideration. In this context, we would like to invite the subcommittee to instruct the correspondence group to consider the annex to the document PPR-8/1 and the context of the guidelines revision. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Brazil. Now I have the floor, I have the card of Binko, and after Finland and Chile. And Binko, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Binko would like to thank Norway for heading the review of the IMO guidelines and for the excellent report. We also would like to thank Finland, Germany, and Poland for their submission. I would like to inform the subcommittee that BIMCO and ICS recently published an industry standard on in-water cleaning with capture. Unfortunately, we just missed the deadline for submitting papers to this meeting, but the industry standard can be downloaded from our websites. Chair, a working group consisting of members of Ajax, in-water cleaners, paint manufacturers, ports, and ship owners have worked for 3 years to make a standard based on best practice in the in-water cleaning industry. With regards to PPR-8/4/1, BIMCO cannot recognize that all microfiling should be hard to capture due to the size, and we strongly disagree that such cleanings can only be conducted in dry dock. On the contrary, in-water cleaning best practice shows that microfiling can be captured and removed from the effluent water down to the size of 10 micrometers and be carried out in a way that ensures that total suspended solids are not elevated above ambient levels during cleaning. Industry has started a small-scale implementation project that will test and certify in-water cleaning companies in accordance with the industry standard. We'll keep this subcommittee informed about the outcome of the work. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Binko. Now I have the cards of Finland, and after that, Mexico and Chile. Finland, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good day to all. Finland wants to express its special appreciation and thanks to the Chair of the Biofouling Correspondence Group, Mr. Svein Nortedal, and thank all the members of the group for hard work. This delegation signs the report of the Correspondence Group given the document PPR-8 as a whole and further supports the re-establishment of the Correspondence Group. Likewise, the distinguished delegation of Germany, Finland as a co-sponsor of the document PPR-8/4/1 is of the view that elements described in the submission should be taken into account in the future work of the Biofouling Correspondence Group. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Finland. Now I have the cards of Mexico. Please, Mexico, you have the floor.
Muchas gracias, Presidente.
Thank you, and good morning to all. Mexico would like firstly to thank the correspondence group for all of the work done, and particularly to Norway and Mr. Afterdal for the coordination and the presentation of the report, the conclusions of which we generally support as one of the countries associated with the biofouling project. Mexico recognises the importance of reducing to a minimum the risks associated with biofouling for all kinds of vessels, and that's why we note with interest the principal conclusions in paragraphs 14 to 22 of the report, as well as the proposals which can be found in paragraphs 26 to 28. In particular, Chair, this delegation supports the recommendation of the group to encourage manufacturers of biofouling system to share the details of the management systems for biofouling in accordance with paragraph 18. Further, we support the proposal of the group to request the MEPC for extending the results to 2023 and that a correspondence group be reconstituted in order to continue this with work. We'd also like to thank Germany for its document, and we welcome the proposal for a roadmap to be included in the consideration of the guidelines. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Mexico. I see the card of Chile, and after that, Republic of Korea, Peru, and Greece. Chile, you have the floor, please.
Gracias.
Thank you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all delegates. We would like to express our gratitude for all of the documents submitted and note that the reports and the conclusions and proposals that are contained in all documents are acceptable, as they will enable member states to have enough time to implement these tools. We believe that it is appropriate to work on all of the documents before us together so that we can achieve a robust, easily applicable tool. In light of these considerations, we support keeping the Correspondence Working Group active as it works towards achieving the best possible outcome. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chile. Now I invite Republic of Korea. You have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good day to all. The Republic of Korea would like to extend its gratitude to the Mr. Optedal for his excellent coordinating and the participants of the correspondence group for submitting the report and the review of the biofouling guidelines. The participants of the correspondence group exchanged various views on the direction for improving the guidelines and developed the draft skeleton for the revised biofouling guidelines. However, distinguished delegates Japan and BIMCO mentioned before, it would be necessary to make a more realistic and practical guidelines regarding microfouling and macrofouling for ship owners to abide by. So this delegation is of the view that further discussion is needed to decide what information should be included in the revision of the guidelines. That being said, as a participant of the correspondence group, the Republic of Korea is supportive of the draft skeleton. In addition, this delegation hopes the target completion year to be extended to the 2023 and a correspondence group to be re-established for the progress of this work. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Republic of Korea. Now I have the card of Peru, and then Greece and Liberia. Peru, please, you have the floor.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everybody. The delegation of Peru would like to thank the correspondence group chaired by Norway, and we agree with the analysis and recommendations in the report on the guidelines, which in the future will help member states to adopt them effectively and implement them. And finally, with regard to the proposals, we look forward to participating in the work of the correspondence group in the future and support its re-establishment. Thank you.
Thank you, Peru. Greece, please, you have the floor now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving the floor. Greece would like to thank Norway for the coordination of the correspondence group on review of the biofouling guidelines, and the submitters, Germany, Finland, and Poland, for document PPR-8/4/1 for their comments. This delegation wishes to note as a general comment of this agenda item the necessity that the relevant correspondence group, which is proposed re-established in order to actively promote and complete the relevant processes by the year 2023, should utilize the existing scientific data and evaluate the feasibility of conducting further studies on the subject. Regarding the document PPR-8/4/1, we can share the concerns from Japan and that the issue should be carefully considered by the correspondent, whose re-establishment we also support. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Greece. You should later to check the sound of your microphone. It's not so clear, but I could understand you. Now I have the card of Liberia, Philippines, and the ICS. Liberia, please, you have the floor now.
Thank you, Chair. Liberia time always in the correspondent group, and we fully support the outcome of the group's work. Mr. Chair, Liberia also supports the re-establishment of the correspondent group to further progress its work. Liberia also thinks the issues raised by Japan on microfouling is critical and therefore needs further consideration in the correspondence group to be re-established. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Liberia. Now, Philippines, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chair, and greetings to all delegates. The Philippines thanks Norway for document PPR-8/4 and in coordinating the correspondence group. Our delegation supports the re-establishment of the correspondence group and the extension of the target completion year of output to 2023. And we also thank Germany and others for document PPR-8/4/1 and welcomes the proposal of a roadmap. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Philippines. Now I have the card of ICS, and after that, Singapore, Korea, and Iran. ICS, please. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. ICS would like to thank Norway for its substantial work in coordinating the correspondence group and join with those who have called for its re-establishment. We would also like to thank Germany, Finland and Poland for their submission PPR-841. However, we share the concerns expressed by Japan, India, Brazil, and others with respect to the recommendation that macrofouling should only be cleaned in dry dock. As BIMCO has observed, in-water cleaning with capture can be carried out on macrofouling, and therefore the recommendation to only clean in dry dock is excessive, unrealistic, and this specific recommendation, in our view, should not be taken forward. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ICS. Singapore, please, you have the floor now.
Singapore, you've been accepted, but you're not popping up.
We can continue, and Singapore can talk later. Clear? Oh, no, please. Singapore is now coming. Please, Singapore, you have the floor now.
Thank you, Chair. We'd like to thank Norway for the document PPR-8 and coordinating the correspondence group, and for the co-sponsors for submitting the document PPR-841. Chair, we support the re-establishment of the correspondence group and support the extension of completing this work item till 2023. Chair, while this delegation supports the document PPR-841 to be considered by the correspondence group, as we believe there is merit to consider certain sections areas to be included in the revised guidelines. However, we share the same concerns as raised by several delegations, where further consideration and fact-finding is needed with regard to the removal of macrofouling in dry dock. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Singapore. Now we have the card of clear, and after Iran and the Bahamas. Clear, please, you have the floor now.
Chair, can you hear me all right?
Yes, it's fine.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair. CLIA would first like to thank those who participated in the correspondence group on the review of the biofouling guidelines, and especially Norway and Svein and Oftedal for the excellent progress made by the group. CLIA would like to support the comments recently made by Japan and ICS on document PPR-841. The proposal to require the cleaning of macrofouling to only occur in dry dock would have severe implications to operation and does not reflect appropriate practice. Accordingly, we do not support this proposal. CLIA supports further consideration of proposals in the re-established correspondence group and looks forward to continuing the work. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, CLIA. Now, Iran, please, you have the floor. Iran, you have the floor now.
Iran has been accepted, but the platform is just taking a bit longer than typical to bring the delegate up.
Okay. Then we have the Bahamas. United Arab Emirates, and Argentina. The Bahamas, please, you have the floor now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and greetings to all delegates. This delegation would like to thank Norway for the extensive work they've done in producing an excellent report of the correspondence group. We are fully in agreement that we should re-establish a correspondence group and that the extension for the deadline should be 2023. We also would like to comment briefly on document 8/4/1. We wish to align ourselves with the sentiments expressed by Japan, BIMCO, ICS, etc. And our area of main concern is that removal of macro fouling should be done only in dry docks. But we do thank Germany et al. For the excellent work that has been presented and the informative link which is attached to the document. But we should be very careful when we give an offer that the macro fouling should be done, the cleaning should be done only in dry dock. This should be rediscussed.
Thank you, the Bahamas. Now, United Arab Emirates, please. And then after that, Argentina and Saudi Arabia. United Arab Emirates, please. You have the floor now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At the outset, I would like to thank Mr. Oftedal of Norway and the co-sponsors of document 8/4/1. We support the re-establishment of the correspondence group. We also support the extension of the target completion date to 2023. We also fully agree with the intervention of Japan that the guidelines must be easily applicable. And we also would like to thank Finland, Germany and Poland for document 8/4/1 and the recommendations contained must be accepted, and we hope that the question of the removal of macro fouling, which should be done only dry docks, as mentioned by some documents, this issue must be reconsidered. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, United Arab Emirates. Now I can see that Iran is able to talk. Please, Iran, you have the floor now.
Greetings to all distinguished delegates. Pleased to see you, Chair, on the screen. We would like to thank the coordinator of the correspondence group and its members for the hard work on reviewing the 2011 guidelines for the control and management of ships biofouling to minimize the transfer of invasive aquatic species. This delegation supports the work done so far by the group, especially a skeleton for the revised guidelines for the control and management of the ships biofouling. Also supports the extension of the target completion year to 2023 and also re-establishment of the correspondence group. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Iran. Now I have the card of Argentina and Saudi Arabia and Panama. Argentina, please, you have the floor.
gracias, señor presidente.
Thank you, Chair. Argentina would like to thank Mr. Oftedal of Norway for having worked the head of the correspondence group and for presenting the report before us, 8.4. We agree with the skeleton that's been presented and the planned time frame, including the target completion year of 2023. We also support the re-establishment of the correspondence group. We'd also like to express our gratitude for document 841 and the excellent work of Finland, Germany and Poland. In light of the comments on the cleaning of macrofouling in dry dock only, we believe the correspondence group could address and reconsider these comments in light of the comments that have been made by many delegations at this session. Thank you.
Chair, you're on mute.
Sorry. Thank you, Argentina. Thank you, Megan. Saudi Arabia, and after that, Panama. Saudi Arabia, please. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our country supports the intervention of India and Brazil, and we also thank Mr. Oftedal for chairing the correspondence group. We also thank the co-sponsors of 8.4 and 8.41. We express our concerns regarding some details in the working documents, especially in view of the fact that these guidelines contain a lot of technical details which may not be practical. So we should take time regarding the change, and we must take all the operational aspects to ensure safety of navigation and the protection of the marine environment. We should collect all the necessary information which would help us to take the right decision regarding these guidelines. The Kingdom also would like to participate in the correspondence group. And finally, Mr. Chair, we would like to express our concern regarding remote meetings. We have a lot of challenges regarding these meetings because a lot of interventions are not clear, like that of India. The intervention of India was not clear, and there was difficulty regarding interpretation of such interventions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Saudi Arabia. Now the time for break. But I still have some cards. I think we have already the idea to sum up the subject. We have to continue to work. But if we are happy with what I will say now, maybe we'll not need the talk of the maybe 10 cards, 10 countries that I have still in my list. First, I'd like to have an idea about what he intended to do with this agenda item. I'd like to draw the subcommittee's attention to a document PPR-8/J/4 and propose to reestablish the correspondence group on review of the biofouling guidelines under the coordination of Norway. And I would like to instruct the group to revise the biofouling guidelines using the skeleton set out in Annex 2 to document PPR-8/4 as the basis, building on the main findings set out in paragraph 14.2 of document PPR-8/4, and take into account the information and feedback on specific issues set out in Annex 4 to document PPR-8/4, as well as the proposals in document PPR-8/4-1 as appropriate, and submit a report to PPR-9. If you agree, we could have this proposal to be done, and we could break now. But if you insist, after the break, we can continue with the comments of the countries that we have still in my list. I say Panama, Netherlands, Ecuador, Poland, Malaysia, Sweden, Angola, and Nigeria. If you agree with my sum up, and this could conclude this agenda item, we can stop here. But if you insist to talk after the break, I will have the pleasure to give the floor for you. For now, I will break to have a coffee. Thank you.
We'll be back in 15 minutes, all. Thank you.